Hi guys, so I'm sitting in my car. I'm running errands today, so I'm a little underdressed for my usual video. But I'm sitting in front of Whole Foods and I decided that what I would do today is go inside and take some pictures and do some video on some of the best forms of fermented foods and ways to get your kids to eat fermented foods. Because as we've discussed in other topics on gut health and tooth decay and overall health, probiotics and fermented food which contains probiotics is one of the top 3 things you should be including in your and your child's diets. So there's been much more research and it's been getting much more traction lately that the microbiome in our stomachs, in our guts, in our intestines is super important to our overall body health, and that's really become sort of much more mainstream in the past few years. And so one of the most important things to do, once again, is to get some fermented foods into the diet. And if you can't do that, take a probiotic supplement, pill or capsule or liquid or powder. But it really is kind of exciting to try to get foods in our diets instead of popping pills, and to try to get our kids to find something that they'll eat. So I'm going to take you into Whole Foods and show you some of my favorites and show you what to look for and what not to buy. And let's do it. So here we are at one of my favorite sections in Whole Foods. It's the fermented food section. There's sauerkraut, kimchi, pickles. There's even fermented salsa. There's beets that are pickled. There's fermented horseradish. And one of our favorite finds here that my husband and my son love is this kraut. It's got salt, just cabbage, and some sea vegetables. And what you want to be looking for is that oftentimes it'll say raw. It should always be in the refrigerated section. Organic is ideal. And let me see if I can find another one that says raw on it. This one doesn't. Another great way to get your kids to eat fermented foods is pickles. Pickles are such an easy way. Here's one of our favorites. This one does say raw, probiotic raw, barrel fermented. These are great, fabulous pickles. My kids love these. Very easy way to get your kids to eat fermented foods. So let's take a look here at the kefir section. Now this is not the yogurt section. Kefir is a more fermented form of a liquid yogurt, and there's a whole bunch over here. So I just want to give you a glance. All right, so let's take a closer look though. Here is a kefir called lassi. It's organic. It's a mango flavor. It is 100% grass-fed. But let's look at the sugar because this is really important. So it's 18 grams of sugar per serving. So which is a little bit high. With the fermentation process, it generally will cut back on the sugar. But this does have added flavoring. It's a mango flavor. So let's look at a plain. There we go. Plain 100% whole milk. Ideally, we're using whole milk. Here's the sugars, 11 grams. So that's much better, but that is a plain kefir, so it's not as much flavor. Here we have Clover brand kefir. This is a berry flavor, and this is, I think, a low-fat yogurt, but it is also organic. So 10 kefir cultures in there, and the sugar in that one was, I believe, about 20. And then let's take a look at the plain. We're looking at about 8 grams of sugar in this one, and this is the plain. Oh, sorry, that's 0% fat. So I do like to go with at least a low fat or a full fat yogurt. So here we do have the plain 10 traditional kefir cultures. And unfortunately, my screen is not letting me see the number of grams of sugar in there. Here we have another one. So again, these are all kefir cultures. This is unsweetened. I want you to look at the sugar There's 12 grams in that one. That's fairly low, but we want to try to keep it under about 10. I'd like to have you stick with low fat or whole foods. And here's 12 probiotic cultures. And it does name the cultures on there. So these are some pretty good ways of getting some probiotic cultures out of yogurt. Here are a couple of my favorites. They're called gut shots, and it's just liquid, so it's kind of like a sauerkraut, but just the liquid out of it, or a beet kvass with just the liquid. All right, so I hope you enjoyed our little tour of Whole Foods. Here's my little stash of fermented beverages that I currently have at home. This one is an old kombucha bottle, and I make my own kombucha. So that's for another video. Thanks for joining me. I'm Katanya Taylor, and there's a lot more to come.